first-time homebuyer who is wondering what the hell to do, where do I start, what's the process look like, what costs are involved? Well, today I wanted to jump into the topic of what costs are involved in buying a home. Because look, it can be confusing. There are a lot of steps in the process, but we'll jump into that. But first, my name is Josh Parker, your Austin Realtor, born and raised in this wonderful town. If this is your first time here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Let me know where you're watching from, what you want to know about. So, let's jump into what costs are involved in buying a house. Like I said, it can be very confusing and daunting, and there are a lot of steps. So, let's take some numbers and look at them, and we'll jump into it. Let's say that your home is $400K. Depending on the type of loan that you have, you're going to have to pay a down payment. Now with that down payment, could be anywhere from 3.5% if you're in FHA to 10 to 20%. And if you wanted to pay more, you absolutely could to knock down your payment. So you have your down payment. Next is your closing cost. Now, depending on the lender and how many origination points they charge you, that could be anywhere from 1 to 10% of the actual cost of the home. So take that into account as well. Most of the time it's between 1 and 3% is what we're seeing on average. So if your home, like I said, is $400, figure on $4, $5, $6, $7, $10,000 for closing cost, and your closing costs are going to cover an array of items. It's going to cover your title search. It's going to cover a lot of things that protect you as you purchase a home, so that you don't run into a situation where there could be liens on the property if you're buying a resale home, or just making sure that it's clean title. Just like a car, you want to make sure that there's nothing wrong with it prior to buying. Reserves, you want to make sure that you have some reserves, and depending on what loan you're doing, if you're doing FHA, they may want you to have several months reserves so that if something happens, you're still able to make your home payment. So that's really the upfront cost. Now, ongoing cost, obviously you have your monthly mortgage payment. You're going to have your property taxes. If it's in a HOA, you're going to have HOA. You're going to have homeowner's insurance, mortgage insurance, depending on the loan, home maintenance, repairs, utilities, and so on. So let's talk about what that looks like. Well, if you have your mortgage payment, most of the time you're going to have your taxes and insurance rolled into it. Insurance, it's going to range depending on the cost of the home, how much coverage you want, but let's figure, just throw a number out there, $1,500 to $2,000. Your property taxes, depending on what area you're in, could be anywhere from the low 2% to 3.5% is typically what we see in the Austin area. So take that into effect. Now, if you're living in the home and it's your primary home, you are able to homestead that and save a little bit on your taxes, which will knock that down a little bit. But it's always safe to look at worst case scenarios. So my house, for example, out in Lago, my taxes are going to run me about 10 grand on the worst case scenario per year. So that adds almost an additional $1,000 a month to my mortgage payment. Insurance, I think I pay about $1,500 for the year. I like to try to pay that up front because I get a little bit of a break on the price. Not much, but for me it makes a little bit of a difference. I don't have an HOA, I have a POA. So I pay $120 for the year. Now, that isn't the case for everywhere. Some HOAs that I've been in are quarterly, some are monthly, and depending on how they set it up and what they provide for you, it could be $25 a month, it could be $25 a quarter. I've seen them $300-400 a quarter. So it just depends on the neighborhood that you are looking in. And it is important to pay attention to that as you're looking at homes to purchase. Home maintenance, repairs, utilities, those are going to be just like as if you're renting. You probably have utilities now. Your water, electric, gas if you got it, trash, sewer, and so on. Now, I can use my home as an example. I pay electric during the summer months where we're in the hundreds. Mine's pretty self-sufficient, so I'm under $200 a month. My water and trash and sewer run about $100, and typical home maintenance is mowing the lawn, changing out filters, making sure that your home stays in good shape so that you're not running into a bunch of issues down the road. So really, these are the upfront cost of buying a home. And like I said, there's a lot of variables in it, so that if you are looking at a certain price point, I can help you. I've got some calculations that I can run straight from my phone and tell you sort of what you're looking at as a monthly payment. Of course, I can't guarantee that that's going to be the end result of it, but a lender can, and they can run final hard numbers for you to get you as close as possible to an exact payment. And if you need help with the lender, I can definitely recommend a handful that I do a lot of work with. So I hope this little tidbit helps. Like I said, if this is your first time buying, it can be overwhelming, it can be daunting. So don't be afraid to ask questions, because that's what I'm here for. That's what I do for a living. I love what I do, and I want to genuinely help guide you through the process to make it as easy as possible so that it's not frustrating. My name's Josh Parker. Again, your Austin Realtor. Hope this little tidbit helps, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll see y'all soon.